Okay, we're going to look at the Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? Who are the Canaanites? Okay, let us read from this place. Genesis chapter number 15, verses 17 through 21. We are going to look at who the Canaanites are. When we talk of the Canaanites, we are talking of the people which the Israelites came and fought when God promised them the land of Canaan, and then they have to come and fight them, and then before they took over. Before the land became Israel, and then we are calling it Israel, it was called Canaan. And then there were people who were living there, and then there were descendants of a man called Canaan. So they were called Canaanites. So we are going to look at who were the Canaanites who were occupying the land of Canaan, and now we are calling it, and today is called Israel. So who are the Canaanites? So that is what we are going to look at today. So look at where they came from, and then how they got to that place, and then the Israelites have to fight them before they take the land. Good. Let us read here. Genesis chapter number 15, verses 17 through 21. Okay, I read. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. This was a sacrifice that Abraham did. If you read back, Abraham did sacrifice. So he laid them down side by side, and then he fell asleep. So they are now describing how the sacrifice was done. Okay. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt to the great river, unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Canaanites, the Canaanites, and uh, the Canaanites. Verse 20, the Hittites and the Perizzites, the and the Rephaim. 21, and the Amorites, and then the Canaanites, and then the Gigahites, and then the Jebusites. So you see the nations that God promised to give to the uh, the descendants of Abraham. They are those that we have mentioned: the Jebusites, the Perizzites, and then the Hittites, the Rephaim, and then all those people. They were the people that God said is have to come and fight them before they take. So we are going to look at who are they, and why, and where do they come from. Okay, now we have seen that God has promised them, and then we said that before the land became Israel, it was called Canaan, and then the people who were dwelling there were Canaanites. But if you look at it, we have seen that there were so many, there are different, let's say tribes or different people that were dwelling there, but they were called all of them Canaanites. We were called all of them Canaanites. Good. We all know that before, when man fell, and then Genesis chapter 6, when man became wicked, God destroyed the entire world, the entire humanity, leaving only 8 people. That is Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, and then their wives. They were the only 8 people that God saved throughout the flood. So all of us now, about the 8 billion people on this planet Earth, all of us, we all descend from this man. All of us are all descendants from Noah. We all descend from Noah. Nobody is and from another man. All of us are from Noah, because when he destroyed the land, it was only Noah and his descendants, his sons with their wives. So there were 8: Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, and then their wives. They were the only people left on this planet Earth. So the Canaanites and those that God asked the Israelites to go and fight and take the land, they were not different from descendants from Noah. They were not from any race of humanity. They were from that same family line. Okay, now I want us to look at read this place. Let us read Exodus chapter 3, verse 8 and then 17. Exodus chapter number 3, verses 8 and then 17. Okay, it reads this way. Exodus chapter 8, sorry, chapter 3, verses 8 and 17. Verses 8. And I am then Sorry. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptian, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and then the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and then the Jebusites. That is when God called Moses to come and then deliver the children of Israel, lead them out of the land of Egypt. It's the same promise. You see that he gave the promise to Abraham and his descendants. So when they were in Egypt, it's the same thing when God called Moses, the same promise that he told Moses. That is what he's coming to do. If you also read the verses 17, let us read the same place, verses 17. It also says the same thing. So the same promise that he's reminding Moses, that is what he promised. So let's go and do verses 17, Genesis chapter 3, verses Exodus, Exodus chapter 3, verses 17. And I have said, I will bring up, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of Canaan, unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and then the Amorites, and then the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and then the Jebusites, unto the land flowing with milk and honey. So the same promise that he's telling them, that he's going to bring them out of the land of Egypt onto that land. Okay, so we have seen that God promised the children of Israel about that land, the land of Canaan. That's the Canaanite. He mentioned the categories of people who were dwelling there. But then these people were dwelling there. The Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, and the Hittites, the Gigagites, all those people, they were dwelling in the land of Canaan. And I said by then it was called Canaan until Israelites took over, and then it is now called Israel. Good. So now let us now look at where these people come from. Where do they come from? Where was their line? Because we know that Noah had three sons: Shem, Ham, and then Japheth. So we're going to look at which line have these people come from. Because I said all of us on earth here, we came from Noah. So now let us trace this family line. So let us go to Genesis chapter number 9, verses 18 coming down. Genesis chapter number 9, verses 18. If possible, we may end at 20, maybe 20, 29 or 20 plus, wherever we stop. The verse that will give us much understand of what we are doing will end there. Good. So starting from verses 18 is go this way. Genesis chapter 9, verses 18 coming down. It says this way: and the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark. So out of the ark, those who were in the ark and then they came out were Shem, Japheth, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Did you see that? There were how many people? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And it proceeds to say what? Ham was the father of Canaan. So it was this Canaanite, his descendants, that were dwelling in the land of Canaan. Good, let's continue. Verse 19. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread, as I said earlier. All these three sons, all of us, we came from one of them. Either you are from Shem, or Ham, or Japheth. Me, the same thing. I'm either from Shem, Ham, or Japheth. If you go to this place, the Genesis chapter 3, and look at the languages, the nations that came out of that came out, you know where you belong to. You'll be able to trace your line. So if you don't know which tribe, sorry, which of the sons that you came from, then you come to the Genesis chapter 10. Or you can go and listen to that one. You know the categories, the nations, which part do they occupy. So which part are you? Are you from Ham? Are you from Shem? Or you are from Japheth? So you can listen to that tape too later. Good. But today we are only looking at the Canaanites. So you can listen to that tape later. So now what we are saying is, let's continue. Verse 20. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. Good. I think this place should be okay for us for now. If it is necessary, we'll come back and read it. So we have seen that how many? We have seen that Noah had how many sons? Three: Shem, Ham, and then Japheth. Good. Now, and we said Canaan was the son of Ham. That's what it says. So let us read the same place, the same Genesis. Let's go to Genesis, the same thing, chapter 10, verses 6. So we are reading chapter 10, verses 6. Genesis chapter 10, verses 6. Good. And the sons of Ham, remember Ham, the sons of Ham, good, so these are the sons of Ham. We have Cush, we have Mizraim, we have Put, and then we have Canaan. How many sons are there? One, two, three, four. So Ham was having four sons. So Put, Cush, Canaan, and Mizraim. So we'll look at their modern names so that we know where they are. But for now, we are not looking at their modern name. So the Mizraim, they put that's Ethiopia, Cush, Africa, Mizraim, Egypt, Canaan, as the Canaanites. So we'll look at them in detail. So you can listen to them later on in the other tapes. But we're not going to look at them. Good. So we have seen that Ham here is having four sons, and then one of them is called Canaan. Good. Now let us jump to verses 15, the same chapter 10, verses 15 through 19. Okay, verses 15 I read. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites, and the Gigazites, and the Hivites, and the Archites, and the Sinites, and the Avadites, and the Zemarites, and the Hamathites, and afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Have you seen? That's why I said what the Canaanites, they were the descendants of Canaan, and then Canaan was a son of Ham. So you have seen that those that were occupying the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, you have seen those nations as we have read them in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 15, from the verses 17 coming down, and then the same Genesis chapter Exodus chapter 3, verses 8, and then 17. The same nations that they have mentioned here. Look, let me mention the names again in the Genesis here. So you hear the names here. Let's look at the names here. The names are here that they have mentioned. Starting from the Genesis 10, verses 16, starting from the 16, you see them there. And the Jebusites, and the Amorites, and the Gigazites, and the Hivites, and the Archites, and the Sinites, and the Avadites, and the Zemarites, and the Hamathites, and afterwards were the families of Canaanites spread abroad. Have you seen? That was the family of the Canaan. So they are the descendants. So those who were occupying the land of Canaan, and we call them the Canaanites, they are descendants of who? Canaan. And Canaan was a son of Ham, and Ham was a son of Noah. So you see where they came from. But when we come to the others, the Israelites, the Israelites were not from Ham. The Israelites were from Shem, the family of Shem. So you can also follow that one. That one is also there. So you see where the Israelites came from, and you see where they can. So all of them are tracing back to Noah. All of them are tracing back to Noah. So all of us are tracing back to Noah. So they were the people. They are the people that we call the Canaanites. So you see where they're coming from. So they are the descendants of who? They are all descendants of Noah, but different, one mother, one father, but different. What? They all one mother, one father. So that's how they descended. Good. So I think, okay, we can continue to the 19th. So the verse 18. And the border of the Canaanites were from Sidon, as thou comest to Gera unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Ada and Admah and Zibion, Ziboim, even unto Lasha. Have you seen? So they are giving us the border. So they were the people who were dwelling in the land of Canaan. So the Canaanites, that is where they occupy. Where they occupy, that's why they call them Canaanite, because they were descendants of Canaan. And today, because they are descendants of Israel, Jacob, who later on was renamed Israel, that is why the name, the town, the country now changed from Canaan to Israel. just like the descendants of Canaan who was dwelling there, and they were calling them Canaanites, or the land of Canaan. So the same thing that we are calling today, the land of Israel, because they are descendants of who? Israel. So this is where this Canaanite came from. Thank you for your time. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, and then you can share it, because here we share Bible facts and then knowledge and then end times prophecies. Thank you.